Oh, okay. So I'm gonna nerd out here real quick. On DX, it was Triple H, X-Pac, Road Dogg, and I think it's Badass Billy Gunn or something.
You lost me.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. And at the end of it, like they lost because the commissioner was supposed to help out The Rock and Stone Cold, and he accidentally hit, I think, The Rock over the head with the belt, and then he got tagged out. And I remember watching that. It was on Thursday Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that night before school with my brother. They lost. I was so pissed. I'm like, man, now I have to wait until Monday Night Raw. And I have to go to school tomorrow.
What kind of...
No, yeah, I was mad. It was like if I was watching the Lakers lose playoffs.
Yes.
You know? Ready, camera. That one's always mine, right?
That one's yours?
That middle one is technically mine. This one gets
both of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it gets both of us.
Cool.
That one gets me.
And then this one just gets you.
Okay.
So
don't look at that one, right?
You can.
You can if you want.
There's no rules.
No,
There's no rules.
There's no rules.
Really, actually, there isn't. But anyway.
like in the Subway commercial, there's no rules. Put your shirt back on. There's one rule.
Oh my God.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Two Dads in a Pod. I'm Walter. We got my pod partner. Gail, that always sounds weird. I do it because it sounds weird.
I don't know. The way you said it today sounds like we're in a relationship, like you're a pod partner. Like
okay, well, see, now you made it into a relationship.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe I don't know. We'll have to talk
Anyway,
about it later.
after hours.
That's a different show.
Two peas out of the pod.
Oh my gosh.
Put that on a t-shirt. With us today, we have another friend of mine since 5th grade.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Virginia Peterson. Days.
Virginia. Oh, yeah. Old school days. Bianca Guillen.
Yes.
And I said it right.
Good morning.
Because everybody says Julian.
Yes. You know. You've been there every promotion, graduation.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to laugh.
I mostly used to laugh about the whole Hawaiian thing.
Yes, you carried that on.
What's the
I
whole
did the Hawaiian thing. Okay, so you transferred into 5th grade, right?
Yes, I transferred into
She
5th
transferred into 5th grade. And first day of school, she wore like one of those like dresses that had like hibiscus plants on them.
Mm.
So like hibiscus flowers. So it looks like all Hawaiian.
Yeah.
So all of us immediately thought that she was Hawaiian.
And I was super dark. So when I
and
got
she had her long hair. I mean, just like you would see like a Hawaiian, like think like Lilo and Stitch stuff, that kind of stuff before Lilo and Stitch. Maybe you did it. Maybe Disney got you and they're like, oh yeah, Lilo and Stitch. But anyway,
it was based off of her.
Yeah,
movie.
My Hawaiian dress.
But anyway, yes, she wore that stuff for a while, and we just carried that on that she was Hawaiian. Yeah. And out of honesty, I didn't know that you could speak Spanish until our high school reunion. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, honestly, right now I was speaking Spanish, and I didn't like in the corner of my eye, I'm like, is she reacting? Does she understand what I'm saying? I don't want to like say Spanish, and then later on she's like, they spoke a lot of Spanish around me. I don't know why.
I don't know why. I'm
just
Hawaiian.
assumed.
That would have been great if I would have wore like Hawaiian.
I was hoping you would.
Know.
I was hoping you would, but I didn't.
The flower.
I was hoping you would, but I didn't say it because I didn't want to be mean.
I was gonna say is like they based off Lilo and Stitch off of her, right? And the attitude, right?
Yeah, why not? Oh, yeah, completely.
Because I loved Lilo's attitude. You know.
Can you be Lilo for Halloween?
Yeah, you should.
I will.
And
or Nani or Nani. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Who would be Lilo or Stitch?
Myself.
Do you have a dog?
Just have a stuffed animal.
Oh yeah, I'll hold one.
That's true.
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
Oh.
We got an idea, and I'm gonna put you on that though.
You should. I'm going to for sure.
So the great thing is that you were basically our first guest fan, anybody that has suggested a topic.
Yeah.
So you're like first time for that. So that's, for everybody out there, you're more than welcome to
Number one.
Yeah. You can hold on to that. So it's in regarded to youth sports, right?
Correct.
And I know that you did a lot of youth sports, like growing up, also, right?
Yes.
I know, like middle school, you did like what, volleyball, I think.
I did volleyball,
Basketball. I remember those.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the yearbooks recently enough to be like, oh yeah, I remember.
Was I good? Not so much.
I didn't go to any games,
okay.
so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is when we moved here from Laguna Hills,
Mm-hmm.
Laguna Hills had after sports, and so I was very active in those. But then once you get towards middle school and high school, it becomes more. You have to learn plays. It's no longer.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
A true radio host.
It's no longer, how they call street ball. You just don't go off of your, athletic ability. It's more, that understanding of the sport, which, I never played any kind of, club ball or anything like that.
Yeah.
So once we got into high school, it no longer became as fun because there was a lot more that went into it that I had no idea what it was.
So fundamentally speaking, or
exactly, yeah.
No, I know Miguel and I have had some youth sports experiences, right?
Yeah.
You were known as the kid with the golden leg, right?
Yeah. No, it was weird. They were describing me as like zoning out in defense, soccer, right? I was in defense, and I don't know, counting grass. I'd be like, imagining a world I wasn't in soccer. I don't know, like something. And then, Miguel, look up. And then the guy's coming with the soccer ball, whoever it was, and I just put my foot out and I stop it and I kick it back forward. It was like the weird, like, I wasn't very mobile. So the fact that they were running right into me was on their, their fault. It was their bad, to be honest. I did very minimal work when I was a kid.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I never made an all-star team and all that stuff. I played some sports in high school, but never really went on to that. And I mean, I look at your posts and I see your son's like in a lot of sports.
A lot, yes.
And like, it looks like he's pretty good.
Yes, he is. Yeah, no, we're on a travel baseball team called the Oaks.
Okay.
In Atascadero. Shout out to them. Amazing team. Love them. And we've won 2 championships, which in this season, which has been great, and he's been MVP of the game because he's pitched the entire game, which is kind of rare to see, but
it's still pretty cool accolade.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is not in high school. Like, he's in high school now, right?
He'll be a freshman.
Oh,
yes.
He'll be a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he gonna try out for all that stuff too?
Yes, he will, and it's really great because what his coach did was took a lot of the kids who play Babe Ruth, so it's the rec league, and kind of created a travel team for Atascadero so they can start prepping the kids. So when they go to high school, Damon was actually one of the only Templeton kids that they allowed on the team because they really wanted to keep it for Atascadero.
Just Atascadero, right.
So, and even once they go on into high school, when it's off season, they'll continue with the same team. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right on.
And Damon did transfer to Atascadero.
Where was he going to?
Templeton. He was in Templeton until.
So, one thing I always wondered, like, Little League World Series is on right now.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that sport. Like,
is
it's fun to watch. Yeah. Like, have you ever watched it on ESPN? I know you're not really big sports.
I watched the big games. The
MLB.
What's it called? The
Major League?
The Super Bowl.
So like
gotcha, like the World Series.
The World Series.
The World Series. Thank you. Yeah, no, even I was skipping on that. No,
He's on the real World Series.
Real World Tascadero. Is that what we're going with? That'd be kind of cool, though. Like,
I've always wanted to do like real world.
Do you remember you guys remember the old MTV shows like Next?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Hi, I'm 15, and if this girl doesn't have my vibe, she's gonna be on the next bus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you did that way too well, Walter.
I can't say I haven't practiced.
You were ready.
Just in case you get that casting call.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
just in case I had to do an impression here, so yeah.
Love it.
Date my mom. That one's always annoying.
That one, yeah.
I never saw Date My Mom.
I've never seen. Yeah, I never saw
You guys never
Date My
saw
Mom.
You went down a different MTV
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
What kind of MTV did you have?
MTV
Summer.
too.
You know what?
That was
When
MTV.
when I wasn't doing sports,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't doing anything, had no job, just wake up and watch TV, and there was like so many episodes of Date My Mom. Next, Room Raiders. You guys remember Room Raiders? I hated
Yes,
that.
I liked the Maid.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Maid.
yeah. It was
Did you watch
hilarious.
much MTV?
I know.
I feel like you're.
I
like,
did, but I was more like maybe I'm thinking about VH1 shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you
Because
are.
the VH1 shows, there was like, I think Flavor Flav was one.
Yes.
Flavor of Love.
Shot
Yeah.
Tequila.
Yes.
Hold your horses. Shot Tequila too. Dang.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a third one where Double Shot at Love or something like that?
Oh, that was
That
with
was-
Polly.
Paul-
Double Shot of Love. Wasn't that with Polly D and the guys from?
Jersey
Jersey
Shore.
Shore.
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was something. I don't know. Maybe.
Anyways, yeah.
Anyway, Shot at Love with Tequila. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
What was that rock one with
Oh, Rock of Love.
Rock of Love?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't get that
Oh
one. You know,
yeah,
Rock of Love?
Sweet Jesus. They did a lot of like dating ones.
They
No, they
did.
did a bunch of other ones. Like what was that one? There was G's to Gents, and then there's another one. It was the one where all the boyfriends were all like douches, and they were like trying to make them not douchey.
Oh.
Maybe I watched it a lot longer than you guys.
Yeah,
did, so
You know what-
I'm gonna
you know
check
what I
myself
like?
out of this.
Real World, and it said like Real World.
yes.
I'm a like the sports one with the jockey and the pro wrestler. They had to make certain weight, and so it kind of went into their lives.
Oh, yes.
Or
True Life.
True Life. There you go.
True
True
Life.
Life. I remember
That
True
was a
Life.
good
Yeah.
one.
Yes,
True Life
yeah.
was funny too.
My thing was always the Real World Road Rules Challenge, and
See,
to
this
this
is the-
day, I still watch it. It's amazing.
I guess that's the only thing I didn't like it from MTV at that time was I
Mhm.
never watched Real World, and it's tongue twister
Yeah.
for me. Yeah, I never got into that.
That was actually my goal after high school was to be on the Real World. Like I was like, I'm going to be on the Real World, and then I got
Yeah.
pregnant, so it didn't quite work out.
Could have been Teen Mom.
I know I could have, but that show wasn't out yet.
No, it wasn't out yet. I know
It was.
No, Teen Mom wasn't out
No,
until I
Was it after high school?
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, because 16 and
16
Pregnant came
Pregnant.
first, and then they started doing Teen Mom with all the
Yeah.
OG moms, and I know way too much about that, so
Yeah.
Well, you always want to know where they're at, kind of thing, you know.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's reality TV, and once you get to see like the gimmicks of reality TV, you realize how much it really isn't real.
I know.
Speaking of real,
Yes.
sorry,
Go ahead.
Let's get back to your son. How's
Yeah.
he doing?
Oh, the real topic, you know. He's doing really great. Excited for high school. Is in leadership. So he's really excited about that. So we're just doing as much as we can to get him prepared for college, things like that.
How different was it when you were growing up being in sports versus him in sports?
I think I hear a lot of, people from our age group, saying that, our parents had to work a lot. So,
Yeah.
My mom tried to go to as many games as possible, but, she had to work, and usually games were like at 3:30, 4.
Mhm.
So I think that's the biggest difference is I have a job that's very flexible, and I have not missed a game since he was 4 years old. I think I've missed 2 games, and that's been recent. And he's like, "Mom, I'm glad you didn't go. It was awful." It was like during his rec season, which
Right,
he's
okay.
always, because he's usually the first draft pick. So usually they go to not.
Right. Once he gets further
yeah.
on, he's like, "All right, Mom, now you can come to these games."
So I think it's been like 2 games that I've missed since he was 4. So I think that is the biggest difference.
Mhm.
And 2, I'm very involved, a little
Right.
too involved sometimes.
You like Teen Mom?
Not like Team Mom. Like if a coach, I feel I'm very competitive. So if a coach is playing daddy ball,
Uh-huh.
and we're losing,
Yeah.
and even not, I
Now,
don't.
by daddy ball, do you mean like always puts his son in kind of thing?
Daddy ball, what that is when you have a dad, but also they have like a group of friends that are
Okay.
also on the team.
Uh,
And sometimes kids that may not be the best in that position play that position, especially in baseball, because
Uh-huh.
all the kids, of course, want to be in the infield. That's
Right.
the cool
that's where the
place to
action
be.
is at. Yeah.
Is it? Let's get it.
I know.
That was a joke.
We wouldn't know, right?
right?
We wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know.
Keep you in the dark. That's how I play my cards. Close to the chest. Is that how you pick up the ball, close to the chest too? Oh, snap!
my
I do
God.
that.
So he learns it.
Yeah.
And then you make a strike, right?
Correct. And then you go
Correct
for a field.
again.
Then you go for a field goal.
Yeah.
Okay, I make the jokes. Okay.
Oh my god. Good one. So yeah, so then we've been on some teams like that
Right.
that, you know, people could have been placed in a better position. I understand rec, like, you know, everybody plays, but when you are traveling and I'm paying to stay in a hotel and gas and food, I want to be competitive. I'm there to win. I'm not there to just have
Do most
fun.
rec leagues travel that much?
No, not rec.
Okay, so this
no,
is
this is like
after.
travel ball.
Okay,
yes,
travel
this
ball,
is after.
So they still have that kind of stuff in travel ball,
when?
like daddy ball and all that stuff.
They do.
Really?
The great thing is on our team, we do not. That's why it's one of the best teams that we've ever been on. The coach, he has a son on the team, but he is so fair and he puts the kids where they should be. And that's why we win. And that's why we win championships, because he knows where to place the kids. He, you know, he's there to win as well. He's
Right.
very competitive as well. Both coaches. We have Coach Eric and Coach Jeremy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got like a real flash forward of you talking about your kid and like, let's say he's in the major league. Yeah, major league. And like they're asking you, the mom, like at the press conference, like, how do you think he did? And you're like answering very professionally and stuff like that. That's like a glimpse I just got.
That's exactly what
you
she's
know?
practicing.
So
for.
we just out here putting 110% and that, you know.
Ever since he was 4 years
put
old.
Put the water bottle next to her and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, we just didn't play enough defense today.
Yeah.
You know, I have been a coach too. I coach my son's team. So
So
you know.
you have practice with talking to a group of people about
I
what,
do with
what
parents and, you know, certain things. And again, because, you know, this new generation is very much participation trophies and, you know,
How do you feel about that?
I'm very much, I think winning is fun. So that is the type of person that I am.
It's a more conservative like role or aspect, but I mean I'm kind of the same way too.
Yes. You know how you always say like Mexican conservative and that's me. I'm 100%. I'm 100%.
I got quoted, all right.
You did. So, you know, I did when
Hawaiian conservative.
you know.
I had to.
You had to.
That was the
I
last
love
one.
it. I love it. No, please. No, I love it. So when I coached, I did have to have parent meeting and let them know, because when you coach rec, one of the rules is you can't use running as a punishment.
What?
Yes,
Man.
it's in the rule book.
Did they make you run?
Since when?
Did they make
I
you
want
run?
to talk to some people.
Yes.
Did they make you run when you didn't stick out your foot?
When you mean when I didn't use my golden foot?
I'm sorry, your
leg?
golden leg, yeah.
My golden. That sounds wrong now.
That
but-
sounds great. I love it.
Again, you did it to yourself right
No,
now.
I think we got in trouble. You know, the first year I played was, I want to say U12 for some reason.
Okay, yeah.
It was pretty already like later in
Yeah.
my young
So ASO
years.
then, right?
Yeah, ASO.
Yeah.
And I remember the only time I ever felt like we got punished was when we were all like, I don't know if we were talking smack or observing another team like practicing. Like it was an adult team because we were at Sherwood Park at that
Okay,
time.
yeah.
Sherwood, yeah, Sherwood. And the coach is like comes up, he goes, "Go run a mile." Like what? Like because apparently we weren't ready to pay attention or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah. And so we ran. And I always
You're probably like, damn it,
The
we
whole
only
time-
run miles on Friday.
yeah, something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. But we were like undefeated division champions in our area.
Oh,
right?
So-
yeah.
So, but it was like a couple. There was a couple of like good players. I don't know if you remember. I'm not gonna say names. I'll say after.
Okay.
But they were really good. Just I think they had like natural ability, and and plus their
I think I
parents were
already know.
soccer players.
I think
too.
I already know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
A
Yeah.
few.
Yeah.
And so we were division champions, and it's probably because of them, because they were like forwards, and they were just give them the ball. You know, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. But then once we start playing like San Ynez or something, like it was like UFOs. What was that? Like, it was like my golden leg was no longer golden. You know, it didn't work anymore.
Oh my gosh.
That was like a different level that we
Yeah.
played, even though we were all the same age.
Yeah.
I thought we were playing like high schoolers now or something. And I was like,
Yeah.
or older kids now.
There's an instant
And I was just
transmission
like,
right in front of you.
Yeah, it was so weird. It's like, I know.
Yeah, it is crazy seeing the like next level, like when we travel and stuff. You're just like,
Yeah.
especially because nowadays, like people play year around, which you
Mhm.
usually didn't see that. You know, usually you had multi-sport.
I
You
also
know.
wonder if that was also our area when we were younger, because I always feel like there has been more. I mean, you see them on TV, right? You see, again, I guess I'll go back to the Little League World Series. You see them on TV, and then every once in a while, the commentators will talk about like, oh yeah, they did this and that, and this kid plays this and then that, and I think it might be the area that they grew up in that has more programs.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You know,
Definitely
and-
that helps.
Yeah, because here in Paso, all we had was you had
Choir.
Drama.
Which helped me, yell at other team members. Use my diaphragm.
in a baritone voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you-
That would be funny though.
You were just a well-rounded soccer player. Your boot, your voice,
And in
your-
weight, because I was like,
Oh my
I didn't move a lot. So my mom was pissed that she invested in not invested a lot, but Mexicans, time is money.
Yes, time is money.
So
Yeah.
she was like, los mando a jugar y no se mueven. Like, tú ahí nomás mirando el zacate. And I was just like, I got your trophy, Mom. We got your trophy. What else do you want?
Oh my god.
Man, your lucky participation trophies were.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
she
would
would have
not-
probably threw it in the trash.
Oh,
But she's-
probably.
Yeah, she'd be like, ¿Qué chingados es esto?
Yeah, there you go.
No ganaste ni madres. Because that's what I say.
So,
So in the area, there's there's a weird balancing part with what's it called, arts and sports. Like there's
Yeah.
always
Yes.
if you it's weird. It's like once one gets a little bit more, the other one's like, oh no, that's not fair. And then once one gets more, it's like, oh, you don't want our kids. It's just you can't win regardless.
it's like a tug of war.
But the more available stuff you have for either side, it's like actually pretty
Right.
helpful for
Yeah.
sure.
So actually, usually, wow, I started there. Did I know, right? What would it have taken to have made a team to make it to the Little League World Series? Did you guys ever invest in that, or?
I don't. I think though you have to register in some way, because I know there are two kids, actually one Damon played with on a team. They're representing the area, and they're actually going to the Pony League World Series.
Okay.
So they're a representative of this area. But I don't know. We haven't ever,
That's
looked
okay.
at.
So I always
any of
wondered,
that.
like, if it was just like, oh, you were this good, then you move on to this next year, then you move
Yeah.
on to the next year, and then I guess not.
Yeah.
God, man.
Oh, back to running.
Yeah, there we go.
That's a rule in the rule book.
Oh dang. That sucks.
So I would make sure to have a parent meeting before every season. Every season. I coached 2 seasons. Calm down, Bianca. So before the seasons, and let them know, on this team, if someone is not paying attention and they're disrespectful or they're taking time away from,
They will run.
they will run.
Okay.
Because that is how
Because
I
they're running their
condition.
mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I turned it into a positive way. If I can't
okay,
coach
got
them
it.
and they can't take in what we're teaching, the next best thing is conditioning. So they will run because that's part of coaching and training is conditioning. So
Right.
we did run. I never had a complaint or anything, but we did, I was like, yes, we're here to have fun, but winning is fun. So that is our ultimate goal is to win, but also, have your child come in and learn something and become a better player and we actually were the 2019 champs. We ended up being from 10th seed to
Number
the
one.
champs. And
Yeah,
that was my son's first championship, and it was
Mhm.
with his mom. So I was a hot mess. Like, I was crying. People were like, "Oh my God, she actually cries. What is going on?" It's crazy,
"We just
lady. Yeah, no, it was great. It was,
Cue up Queen.
it was definitely one of the top 3 moments of my life.
Mhm.
That was, something that not many people can share with their child.
What other sports is your son into?
So he played football
Right.
since he was 7. But now he's, focusing more on baseball and
So-
basketball.
So baseball is like his sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and basketball is this the close second.
Does he want to play pro?
He does.
I like his dream.
That is his dream, but I think too it's important as a parent to let them know that that's a great dream to have and work towards, but you also need to have a plan B when it comes to professional sports.
Right.
So that's why college is very important in our family. But, ultimately that's the goal, but he also understands that it is very tough. So he has other goals as well. Like he's looking maybe into being a stockbroker. He really enjoys numbers and he can finesse the heck out of people. So,
I wonder where he learned that from.
I have no idea. So, I think that's really important because I know, people who that was their goal. And after high school, they did go to some community college and they realized, not everybody makes it and their heart is crushed. And, being an athlete is addiction in some way, because that adrenaline, you can't get it from anywhere else. And if you always think this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do, and then the reality hits, it can sometimes be very hard to swallow that pill. Yeah.
Can't imagine that. I mean, yeah, everybody kind of thinks about like playing a pro sport for money, you get to be in the best shape of your life.
Yeah.
But I do know that it's not also some people. I know there was you probably know who she is, but there was somebody we graduated with became a cheerleader, and for the Cardinals.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually in our high school reunion, I asked her, I was like, how was that whole, situation? She's like, it was great, but there was too much of like, you had to make weight.
Yeah.
And well, especially for women, because I can't imagine that, like, as a guy, I mean, yeah, making weights, like what, just bulking up or something, or maybe slimming down.
I don't know enough of it. I know UFC is very, like, strict with weight and stuff like that, like, to the point where it's still, like, being adjusted because people have literally passed out while being weighed.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're trying to cut weight or something. I don't know. They're trying to fight the guy at a lower weight level.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, yeah.
I don't know enough about it on why it matters, but I guess it does. You have 20, you have 10 pounds on somebody else, like you're going to beat them apparently. Like it's the weirdest approach to that conversation.
Probably.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make it, I guess, as fair as possible. But my son's dad did boxing, and it's like you just have to weigh that much for that day.
Yeah.
And then
and
you
then
don't
you can
fight
eat
right
whatever
after.
you
Yeah,
want.
then
Yeah.
you can eat, whatever you want. So
That's crazy. I didn't think about that.
No, it's I always wonder, like, I would be like in heavyweight because I can never go under a certain amount. I was like, so I got to learn my ground game real good if I do UFC. For a while, I was actually following UFC, like when BJ Penn was in it, and then I don't know if you guys follow.
So that's the
all.
point. That's a sport that you were.
Yeah, I was following it a little bit, and then I can't remember what happened. Maybe I just got busy with work or something, but like I just stopped watching TV altogether. Oh. And so I kind of lost. So I'll see them like pop up every once in a while, like on TV. It's like, oh, that's BJ Penn, or like that's oh god, I can't remember all the names right now. There's two Hughes or something. I can't remember. I watched the Ultimate Fighting Championship. That was pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, drama.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool. But
was that the show where they did the it was kind of like Real
the
World?
yeah, kind of like Real World, yeah. Because they did record beyond training hours and fight hours. So they were at home, like,
it was basically
being
Real
guys.
World. Yeah. I remember that show.
Didn't they do that for like WWE too or something? It's like the next wrestling
maybe
star or
I
something.
don't know.
I don't know. Not as a show. I know there's a movie kind of based like that where it's
about Paige.
Yeah,
that was a great movie.
That was a good one.
I haven't seen that one.
I forget.
I've
The
actually been
Rock.
I've recently been rewatching some old fights from WWE
Oh
when
my
it was
gosh,
WWF. I found them on
yes.
YouTube. There was one that I kept like looking for
Yeah.
forever, and I finally found it, and it was like flashback. I remember I still remember watching that like it was an actual sports like event.
Yeah.
I remember there was one where like it was The Rock and Stone Cold, and I'm like, oh yeah, those are my boys, right?
Yes.
Or they crack open
A
a beer
beer.
and
Yeah.
waste the whole thing, pouring it on themselves just for the show.
Blasphemy.
Now as an adult, you're like, what the heck was he doing?
In my head, I'm like, my dad would be so pissed.
No, there was that one, and when they were doing it was like a 4-on-4 Kane was also there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember those.
Yes.
Every time he showed up, it was like the scariest thing. Apparently, like everybody's like, "What?" Like,
Okay, yeah.
The
And
sound-
he was the
like,
whole
what?
like eyes.
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
him and Undertaker were like the like.
They were like the scary
you thought they were
duo.
gone, but then they show up or something.
Oh, yeah,
It was like,
there was like a blackout, and all of a sudden they appear right behind.
Yeah.
they're like, oh my god! But can you imagine like during that blackout, hurry! It's like,
Yeah, I know. Stumble against the chair. Oh,
you just hear like a windbreaker in the back.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, no. And I remember the Rock and Stone Cold lost that one at the end.
Oh,
And
their
it was-
tag team match?
Yeah, because it was against DX. Do you remember D Generation X?
I don't.
You don't remember?
No.
You guys remember? Okay, it was Triple H was on it, and they were
Okay. I know
Oh, the
Triple
short
H.
version of him was with him,
the short
right?
version.
Wasn't Triple H so? Triple H
Triple H
was
is
like,
the big dude.
Triple H is the big guy, right?
Yeah.
And then he had like a smaller guy with him. Was that?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna nerd out here real quick. On DX, it was Triple H, X Pac, Road Dogg, and I think it's Badass Billy Gunn or something.
You lost me.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. And at the end of it, like they lost because the commissioner was supposed to help out The Rock and Stone Cold, and he accidentally hit, I think, The Rock over the head with the belt, and then he got tagged out. And I remember watching that. It was on Thursday Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that night before school with my brother. They lost. I was so pissed. I'm like, man, now I have to wait until Monday Night Raw. And I have to go to school tomorrow.
What kind of?
No, yeah, I was
Is
mad.
it?
It was like if I was watching the Lakers lose playoffs.
Yes. No, it's
That's
so.
funny.
My son was super into WWE. We actually went to WrestleMania.
How was that?
Oh, so I don't even like WWE, right? But
Right.
of course you get into it because you have to watch it or whatever. And I almost gave my ticket away because I was like, I am not
Oh,
going to
really?
be
Oh.
entertained. Like, I don't want to go. I almost gave it to my brother. I went. It was one of the most fun experiences in my life. It was amazing. Just, the entertainment value.
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
I thought there was going to
That's
be
what the E
a bunch
stands
of kids. I know. I thought that there was going to be a bunch of kids. No, there
Oh,
was
no, there's
grown
grown-ass
adults,
men, yeah.
like in full costume, and it was at Levi Stadium, one of their first events at Levi Stadium,
Yeah.
and it was
No,
fantastic.
You ever watch one of those matches? Just look in the background. You'll see so many old dudes. Just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Kill him! Oh, shit.
And even when you find out it's fake, it's still so great. And when I was younger, I was like, wow, people are so lame that watch WWE, and here I am as a grown adult. Like, this is
probably
great.
probably calling me lame.
I've only been to.
No wonder you gave me the eye in 8th grade.
I knew it. I knew you were one of those.
Growing up, I always tell people I was a deprived child because they'll be like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I remember doing this as a kid. I'm like, when did you guys go? What do you mean go? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Disneyland, I didn't go until I was like 20.
Yeah.
I didn't see my first live concert at the fair or something
Mhm.
until I was 23 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And then
You didn't even take the Ferris wheel up to see Britney Spears.
Right?
That's what I
Christina
did.
Aguilera,
Yeah,
Destiny's
at the
Child,
fair.
Neo.
no, I did not.
No?
Damn.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
you were
nothing.
pretty
I mean, I
deprived.
would hear him on the other side,
That's right.
Um,
Because you live close.
because
Yeah.
I still walk around the fair if anything.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I remember the first baseball game I went to was when I was 27.
Mhm.
Okay.
So not that long ago, right?
Not too
And at first I was like, you watch TV and you have commercial breaks and you can do stuff. So I'm like, what are they gonna do in between? All these things. And
Yeah.
but yeah, the entertainment value was they made it worth it. I
Mhm.
mean, the crowd that was there already knew how to make it worth it too.
Oh,
The waves
yeah,
or
yeah.
participate and there's 50-50 raffle for some crazy reason, all this stuff. And yeah, it was worth it. And then I went to a game that just went overtime all the way to what's the most innings you get? 15 was it?
You can go.
You can go to.
It can go
Yeah.
but
until
it
it's over.
went a lot.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
ninth inning. They were tied. I can't remember how much, but I think we went 5 more innings after that.
Damn.
So we left LA pretty
Long
late,
ass
and it
game
was just
then.
sweet Jesus. I mean, I guess I got my money's
Oh
worth.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got
You
way
got
But
more
you
than
can
me.
definitely tell the players were getting tired.
Yes.
They were done. You know.
Yeah.
So like about baseball, they don't play until
Yeah.
they keep going.
Yeah. It and also depends on the game and
Yeah.
things like that.
So
So especially playoffs.
I mean, one thing that I note. Oh, what are you gonna?
No, go
do you,
for it.
okay.
No, it's all you.
One thing I noticed that through your social media posts and stuff,
Mhm.
you spend a lot of time with your son.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's amazing. That's great. Like it's a cool thing to see. Clearly he loves being around you and stuff. What other things do you guys like to do together?
So as you can see, we travel a lot. Yeah. We find a lot of new things. We just got back from an inflatable water park over. It's called Wake Island. So I always try to find new things because we're pretty busy, with sports. So when it's that time to relax, especially summer, it's so funny. Miguel said deprived kids. Yeah. When we were younger, I think the vacation for our family was coming to Paso because we lived in Lincoln Hills. We're like, we're going to Paso to see Thea,
We were trying to leave.
Yes.
I know. When I go to LA, I'll be like, fuck yeah.
This is great. No, so we lived in Lincoln Hills. So for us, vacation was here because it was so slow here, it was so then we moved here. But for my son, it's weird just saying that. Different generation for him. It's like, so mom, where are we going for our summer vacation, or what are our vacations for this year? And it's like,
he's already like, I gotta make sure I pencil it in.
Exactly. So like this year we've gone to Cancun. We we've gone to the Bruno Mars concert. We've gone to New Edition. We've gone to, so we go to all kinds of stuff. So just really finding out what he likes at that time. And two, because he's the only child, it's
a lot easier
for sure.
Did you find yourself like seeing a situation where like he's experiencing it for the first time, but as a kid you were experienced it and you didn't like the way it turned out, so you try to like change his, or like
if it didn't go well for you, so you're just trying to change
make
it
sure
it
it goes
better
well
for him.
Like, have you ever had like when you were a kid, like, dang, I wish I was different, and then when it happens to him, you're like, all right, we're gonna make sure it doesn't happen the other way that it happened to me.
Yeah, I think just the childhood altogether, because I hear the podcast when you guys do it, and there was always a little bit of fear with our parents, and we we couldn't talk to them about certain things, right?
Oh yeah. I watch too many telenovelas.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. So having that communication, the thing is my son still has a little fear. My dad used to always say, I'd rather have my children fear me and respect me than like me and disrespect me. And I'm still very much that old school. Like my son the other day was like, Mom, I'm not scared of anybody because you're the only person that I'm scared of in this world.
Damn right.
Damn right. But we still have that relationship where he can talk to me about anything. Right now is the girls, the girls coming in. And
right. How do you feel about that?
He's very open in a way, but open enough where I don't have to know all his business because I see all his little Snapchats and it's like, I don't want to know.
Well, I'm just wondering, it's like, do you still see him as your little boy, or have you moved on from that? Especially since he's your only child, and trust me, because my daughter is almost be 11 and I still can't let go. Yeah.
I think he does a very good job when he's around me. Still being, that loving little boy, and we still like bond and things like that. And then away, he does his own thing. Right. So he's very mature in that way because I think we grew up together in a way. I mean, I had him when I was 18 years old, and it's just been me and him. I moved out, lived on my own with him for a very long time. So I think he's in a way protective of me in that way. And still, there's times though where it is hard because I'll be at home by myself and he'll be out and about because I let him go, spend the night at friend's house because I was never able to do that as a Mexican girl. I was never able to spend the night at anybody's house until I was in high school, and it was only because I had known my friend for a long time and there was no man in the house. She would,
I had a feeling, yeah. What did they say? Goes, uno nunca sabe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I think that way is being able to have that open relationship with him, and also having that realization, like, for example, when he goes to high school, people are like, are you going to let him go to parties? Absolutely. I am, because I'd rather him go and him let me know and me know where my kid is than him go behind my back. Like I used to do all the time, sneak out. And that's more dangerous situation.
What are you talking about?
I
don't know what he's talking about.
I snuck out twice and never again.
They knew exactly where it was.
I never got caught, but I snuck out twice, and after that, I was like, I'm never doing this again.
And you were scared the whole time. You couldn't even enjoy yourself,
no,
right?
I one time I ran home and didn't stop running until I got home. Like, that's how scared I was.
Yeah.
I walked home. Remember, I don't.
That's right.
You didn't want to ruin that, the golden leg.
Exactly.
So you just,
Save
I've
it
never
for-
broken a bone in my body.
Yeah.
You're gonna save it for Sandy and Naz,
Yeah. You know what's funny? I tell people are telling me like now they have kids or themselves, they had cavities or something. I've had 0 cavities my entire life.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And I feel like I'm saying it more now just to see if I get it, like jinx it.
Oh,
like
you
my
get a
whole
cavity.
my whole
don't jinx it. You don't want to have cavities.
Oh, okay, got it. Because I've never had one, so I don't know what it feels
You
like.
might just have good teeth genes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because some of it is genetic.
It is genetic. My wife has like the power like pick thing and like brush her teeth and she still gets cavities.
Yeah.
It's just genetically.
No.
Yeah.
But I also haven't even broken a bone in my body too. I've sprained it because of soccer cleats on cement, a little bit, but I've never actually broken a bone.
Why were you?
I know. I was about to say. I like how you slid that in there. Yeah, cleats on cement.
What were you doing with that golden leg?
So your kid is very. No, I think like the soccer ball got away from us, like from the grass, and my dumbass went to go get it, and I'm like, you know how like you've worn high heels, right?
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm assuming. Have you worn high
No,
heels?
I have not. No.
But
that was a great.
That was the closest thing to high heels, like because you're
that's true.
trying to make sure like you're not sliding everywhere, but I made the wrong,
Forgot your purse. You had to go run back.
Yeah, something like that,
Oh my gosh. I loved how he slipped that in there, cleats and concrete. But I was like, wait. What?
I was more worried about that leg, though,
Yeah. Fuck the teeth. So Sophia right now is learning how to, or she knows every night we're brushing her teeth.
Yeah.
Even when she's at her grandma, she'll be like, she'll be watching something. She was watching something yesterday, and she's like, it's about like brushing teeth, and like the dolls were like, whatever. It's like, yeah, oh, you look like you got a brush back here, and I'm like, see, that's important, right? So yeah, I brush them at grandma's, and I brush them in here, and I'm like, that's right. And then I'm like, I gotta lead by example at some point, right? Because I suck at brushing my teeth. There's times where I forget. When I was a kid, I never brushed my teeth. That's adding to the whole cavity thing. It's like, how did I not get cavities? Yeah. But at the same time, I also avoided a lot of candy.
Oh,
I was more of a chocolate guy, but never really like hard candy or sugary candy or anything like that.
Really? Okay, that's probably why.
That's probably why, but never got in a cavity.
That's lucky. Well, one thing too that I learned because I went to a class for dental hygiene when my son was little. So when it sounds like I went to all these special things, but when you're a teen, you're in a special program that they try to help you out because it's like you're 18 years old with a baby, so go take all these classes.
That's a good point.
So that's why I've gone to all these like classes and seminars, and I wouldn't know about them either. But they said that one of the reasons that children get cavities is because they share food with their parents. So like the straw. So
that's right.
Bacteria actually gets transferred into their mouth. And so
so teach them not to share.
Not with your parents.
Not with
food.
food.
Yeah.
Maybe like a toy here and there, but like
as long as they don't have hand, foot, and mouth.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of hard to avoid sometimes because I notice Sophia's like wanting to put like she's like looking at her foot like she wants to put it in her mouth, and I'm like, don't do that,
I mean, yeah.
She's really tall.
I haven't.
What is her percentile for height?
It's average right now.
Really?
Yeah. The last time we checked, we were like so worried about being under average because like she's very picky with food now. I mean that's the age, but she's very, very picky with food, and like it's just I'm like, damn it, we're gonna get in trouble. Child Protective Services is gonna be called. They're gonna like walk back in with 2 suits, kind of like in Lilo and Stitch. That guy with the
Was it Mr. Bubble?
Mr. Bubble, yeah, because I'm fun or something. I don't know why his name was that anyway. But like I'm like, but then she came back. She's like, oh, looks like she's in the in the average range, 50th percentile or something like that. And I'm like, Okay. And then we walk out. I was like, how the fuck did we like what?
Did you switch their charts? What's going on?
Like, do they have the right kid? Like, I was mistaken by another Miguel Nunez when I was in middle school.
Were you?
Yeah, there was another one who was like a gangbanger or something, right? So like, I got called to the office a lot. There was one time, no, it's true story, bro. There was one time I got called into the office, and they put me in the waiting room, and the vice principal was waiting for me, but he
like
was
shitting bricks.
But I was curious more. Like I didn't know what it was.
Vice principal?
But this is the first time I got called in. It was vice principal, and then he was talking to somebody. I don't know if it was like a power move to make me wait in the waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I wonder what this is about. Anyway, so I like my mind started wandering. I was like, let me go. You can come in now. And I sat down, and there's a guy there. I don't know who he is. Like, thinking back, I'm like, my parent probably should have been there.
Yeah.
You know, like they're gonna have me sign some kind of confession or something without me knowing, kind of thing. But his first words out of his mouth was like, "You know what's wrong to threaten people's lives?" I was like, "What the fuck?"
You're like, "Yeah, I do."
And I'm like, "Yeah." And
am I teaching this kid?
And he goes, because that's not okay. And in any school, blah, blah, blah. So we have to address it when it happens. I'm like, oh, okay. And I looked down for a second. I looked back up and was like, you got the wrong Miguel. If I had a mic drop, I would have done it. But it was like, oh my God, like they got the wrong guy.
Oh my gosh.
And they go, oh, and then they let me go. That was it. I was like, if my mom was a lot more involved or something,
Yeah.
I'm sure there would have been hell to pay, like something along
Yeah.
the lines like, you called my son, you accused him, blah blah blah. Like, I'm sure I would do that. Sophia
You're
was called
expecting
in.
some Cholo Miguel coming in.
I guess
there.
I'm in there like all like
jolly good,
well-rounded Miguel.
Still has a hi. How are you doing?
Has that twinkle in his eye as he's looking at you, kind of thing. Like, yeah,
Speaks properly to adults.
Exactly. Doesn't look away when you're asking questions. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, what was I talking about? Why did I bring that up?
The fact that there was another Miguel.
Another
You got
Miguel.
Miguel. Oh, because Sophia. Oh, Sophia's
Oh,
charts.
another
yeah.
charge. That's so crazy we get.
There you go.
But no, she was in the average range, and we were just baffled. Like we were expecting like low iron or something, low everything, But no, she's apparently healthy.
Great. That's awesome.
How are you preparing your son for high school sports?
Ooh, good question.
He has been working out and
Okay.
then he practices. I have a couple of friends who they are in the sports world and do it for a living. So just a lot of networking to making sure that he gets the proper training and also mentally. It's a mental game. In doing that. So I have a couple of books that we have at our house. Of course, we always start to read them and don't finish them. But I think just that way. And then he, like I said,
Just
mentioned
bedtime
earlier,
stories
we tried it for a little
Chapter
bit.
one.
I felt so,
Yeah.
productive, and it literally lasted for like 3 days. And then we were like, oh.
Reading, teaching.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, just getting them, but really ultimately I always tell him he's a student athlete and student comes first. So really we're preparing him more for that aspect. As a parent, that's really my number one priority is for him to get to college because you want
him to do that just in case.
Yeah, for sure. Well, not just in case me, I'm like, you're going to college because you need that degree in life. I didn't know the importance of a degree. I mean, in high school, I don't even know how I passed high school. I did absolutely no work. But so just really, setting those goals and expectations for him. Like in our house, you have to get all A's or you're in big trouble.
Wow. Okay.
So just setting that standard. And the thing is people are like, isn't that a little harsh? And I'm like, if my son had, some kind of learning disability or I saw him struggling, then I would adjust
That's right.
those
You're going to
goals.
his attributes basically.
Exactly.
Right? So if you know he can do it, then of course he
can. Yeah.
Did you? I don't know if I already asked you this, but you did sports in high school too, right?
I did.
You did some.
Yes.
How was it back then? Now he's about to start now. Is there certain things you're gonna look for maybe things you didn't like when you're in high school sports, and see if that has transferred onto this generation, because it's like what 15 years later or something.
I think it's going to be a big difference, because in reality, boys sports is a lot different than girls sports.
True.
So, for me in high school, I used sports a way to, get out of the house and be part of a team and hang out with, the girls and things like that. It's going to be a whole new perspective, because for Damon, it's not going to be, he will hang out, but for him, he has the talent and he has the ability to move on and, play.
You also let him
ball.
go out and do stuff, so it's not like he's trying to get out of the house.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it'll be a, different perspective.
Completely different experience.
Yes, and completely different experience. Like I said, he has the talent, and two, he has the resources. I mean,
that's more important too.
Yeah, he definitely understands that.
So, is there anything else you didn't like about youth sports that he maybe things that he went through aside from daddy ball and all that other stuff? I mean,
I think for me, where we live is very much kids are competing against themselves on the same team instead of competing against the opposite team. Again, because
the structure.
That's right. And then also, I like just sometimes parents, and I have to admit, parents are very much involved because where we lived in Templeton, you have a lot of stay-at-home moms and dads that can get off, so we do tend to be very involved. So it's become more of you can do a real true life I am a sports parent, because there is some drama that goes on behind the scenes.
Let's hear
it. Just again, because you feel like your kid is competing with his teammate, and
does that transfer onto the parents?
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And but when you find that right team, like for example, it's all depends on the coach, because we don't have that issue anymore. All the parents on our current team on the Oaks Atascadero, because our coach is so fair, we no longer have to make sure our son is playing in the right place, because our coaches do that. We know that they're being treated fair. The kids, if they're not playing, they know it's because they're not the best for that specific position and situation.
It's crazy to think that it's more than just, do we have the right group of kids on a team? It's like, not only do we have to make them be a team, but we have to make the parents be a team, and no competition within each other. And like, because I can tell there's like, those group of moms that probably have competitions within each other, whether it could be who can yell the loudest, who can be the most obnoxious. But I know there is that whole like, it's my little boy, or and like, my boy's better than your boy. I mean, it's just it's sports brings out the competition and everything. Basically.
They do, and I definitely take the prize for loudest and most obnoxious.
Show off the shirt.
But the thing for me is I cheer for everyone. I had one person tell me, I was like, is that your son? He's really great. And she's like, yeah, who's your son? Because you cheer for everyone. I was like, yeah, but like I said, when you're on a great team with,
like, I was just driving by.
Yeah. What kid?
I stopped by.
I love the game of baseball.
Taking pictures and everything. Oh God.
I'm sorry.
So no, that's totally funny, because we do have some like older people in Atascadero when the boys are playing. They're like, how often do you guys play? Do you guys come here a lot? And we're like, yeah.
You don't have anybody here.
I know. But some people just love the game.
Yeah, of course.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Like, so it's fun, especially when you have a great experience. We had another great team before this team, because my son has been on about 5 travel teams, and we've had great experiences with 2. And that was the Pismo Marlins before this, but it was all the way in Pismo. And we were playing with them. Parents, again, were fantastic, super welcoming. The coach there, Tyler Stewart, we actually went to school with him. Very competitive. He was a year younger than us, and that's,
Okay.
played the kid. He actually was one coach that put me in check, which I never get put in check. Yes.
Really?
So there was this one, we were in this tournament, and my son was on the bench, and my son does not go on the bench. I was pissed. And then after the game, I was like, hey, Tyler, like, why didn't my son pitch, and why was he on the bench? And he's like, well, first off, your son had a bad attitude, so he didn't play. And second of all, the kind of pitcher that I needed, he doesn't have enough tools in his tool belt. Like, he did at that time, he didn't have a changeup. He didn't, have, those different tools. And then I was like, okay, I couldn't say anything. I was okay. So then, but that helped us so much, because now my son, he does have a changeup, and he has a knuckleball and all this other stuff. So yeah, he's the one coach that he told me, and I had nothing to say. So
he definitely had everything in control.
He did. No, he was great. And he didn't have a kid on the team. He just does it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, that probably makes it easier
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice when it comes to travel and sports? Because I'm sure that can be hectic and it can be very difficult.
You mean like hotels and food?
I mean, just anything. It's a new world for me whenever I hear that kind of stuff, because I never went through that.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious if there's like something that maybe it was a bad experience, or usually, I don't know if you all go in groups.
It's so funny. There's some parents who like do go in groups, and they'll stay in the same hotel room. And me and my son, we're always like, because I am, a single parent, and I got to go for the deals. So, I got to go for maybe like
teach them right.
Yes. So sometimes, we won't stay in the same hotels as other parents. With this group, though, it's a whole different vibe. So, I would pay that extra money to all stay in the same hotel room. But other than that, just really like finding deals, becoming rewards members for certain things, so then you can get cash back, and that helps out a lot. But then too, again, my son is an only child, so
that's right.
It's a lot easier for me, because I do see parents who have more than one child, and they have to try to entertain the little ones. And sometimes days are so long in baseball. You can be there from 8 a.m. to, 6 or 7 p.m. and it's the whole day there. And it's just like, so I have it pretty easy, especially too on food. Like, if we don't make food, then we can just go get something. It's just me and him. So I do have it a little bit easier because I have one. So recently we just started making our food, like sandwiches and just getting a big ice chest, just because it's more convenient, but
easier.
Other than that, and I think just a coach is very important. I learned, because I used to be a crazy mom and used to like the middle of the game, go onto the field and tell, a coach, what the heck is going on, But becoming a coach, I realized these, coaches spend so much time and dedication, and what they put into it every day is great. So learning to kind of step back a little bit and respect them in their decision. Of course, if I have something to say, I'll still say it. But when you find the right coaches that kind of have the same mentality as you, I've never, ever had to do that to Coach Jeremy or Coach Eric, because they're there to win just like we are. And everybody, on that team has the same goal, and everybody, wants all the kids to succeed. So,
You reeled everything together then. Yeah, wow.
But it's definitely hard to find the right, especially on the Central Coast, because it's very, again, political.
Come on. We've lived here our whole lives. So.
Yes. So,
you know how that is. That's a whole different life.
A lot of favoritism too, right?
Absolutely.
Completely.
No. I remember when I would, the first year I played, my brother was in a separate team, I think. Second year we played, I was kind of cool, like excited that I was, where I'm going.
He keeps talking about he almost his mom always got his brother in
At the last minute.
Yes,
At
I
the
remember you
last
saying
minute.
that at a podcast, and you thought
Yeah.
this was going to be
At the
your
This,
team, right?
this is like the 4th time we talked about
I love
this.
it.
So like, yeah, it was
Flashback.
flashback. So I'm like, when you're talking about like favoritism and all that stuff, and like, if I was the coach and my mom was talking to the coach, hey, can you put him on the team? Like last minute, no.
Yeah.
I would have said, I would have said no if I was that coach. But no, I'm not doing any parents any favors, But
Spot me at 20, we'll talk.
So are you guys going to put, because I know you have 3 and you have 1, are you guys going to put your kids in sports? Or?
So Lexi tried, like my oldest, she tried soccer almost 4 years ago. To be honest, I always give my kids, I'm going to give them like whatever they want to do, I'm going to support it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to say I didn't have that for actually, when it came to sports, it was like we're playing soccer. My dad was a huge soccer guy. I mean, you hear the story of if he could have gone pro if he didn't get hurt kind of thing. He really was good though. He really was good up in Mexico and all that other stuff. So, he taught us soccer and stuff. And since I was always very shy and like, very self-conscious, I had no confidence at all. Like it was hard. And my dad, I love him. He went to every game, so I at least can say that he went to every game. But I got yelled at every game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just yelled at every game. He was the Mexican dad on the sideline yelling at me when the ball wasn't even near me. Right? And I said in an early on episode that one of the only positive things I ever got from my dad was the time when I got hit in the with the soccer ball in the face. Like just like a wet, it was a wet one too, and it was. I still remember. I could still see it, and it was spinning furiously. It hits me, and I wasn't even playing. I was in the sideline. I was sitting down. After my dad told me to go sit down over there, after he just got done yelling at me, he tells me to go sit down on someone's lawn chair. So I'm already like, I don't even. Yeah. So I'm already like, I don't even.
Your dad took you out of the game.
No, he didn't take me out of the game. It was just ASO. They had 4 quarters.
Oh yes.
So it was just I just happened to be sitting out. And he got done yelling at me, and he told me to go sit down over there. I'm thinking to myself, man, these aren't even my lawn chairs. I'm already embarrassed. And he sat me down, and I'm watching the game, and then an errant ball just comes and hits me right in the face.
Oh my!
And it was almost like the sideline was here, and then the guy was here, and it goes right to my face. And so I wasn't allowed to cry because it's my dad.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, no. I had to hold back every tear that I could. And afterwards, he was telling my mom how horrible I did. But he said, but como un hombrecito. Like, he didn't cry after getting hit. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, I got
one thing.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, so, yeah, they're going to be allowed to play. We just got Donovan signed up for ASO. The little one, she's still kind of little, so we want to put them in sports. Lexi didn't like the way shin guards felt, so she's not gonna do soccer anymore. She tried doing karate, and just wasn't for her. She did track and field. Oh no, not track and field. She did cross country in elementary school, which she was actually pretty good. But again, it's just not for her.
For her sports.
And and there's I think there's a couple other things with her that it's gonna take the right thing for her to get into. It's issues I haven't brought up, but I will in a later episode because I'll just take too much time. But anyway, what about you, Miguel?
I don't know. It's a tough one because growing up, I had a lot of different interests, and I never got to do a lot of them. Because, like, in elementary school, I wanted to do choir in elementary school.
Yeah.
But my mom, like, I always in my mind was like, no, I'm not going to make my mom take me after school. Because it's an after school program in elementary school. And because she's already been working all day, blah, blah. So that's, like, the kind of approach I took. Any kind of plays that were, like, this elementary school was doing, I didn't do choir until, like, 7th grade in middle school. Which was cool. And then I didn't really do sports. So it's, like... I was more of a very, like, what's it called? conservative on what I wanted to do as a kid. I'm sure it would have turned out way different if I was
just
a lot
went in
more,
and did
if I
it.
just went in and did it,
Yeah.
because I was surprisingly like naturally good at at a lot of things that I was trying,
Right.
like soccer. Like imagine if I did like get all agile and stuff like that, and like that leg was gonna like take
You're
me
the
places.
kid with 2 golden legs.
Yeah, 2 golden legs instead of 1. And if I played like basketball, it was like the
The golden
wrist,
arm.
whatever,
Yeah.
But no, it was so it's kind of tough to like kind of imagine Sophia starting to do all those things.
Mhm.
Once she starts telling me things, though,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm probably gonna be that. That's gonna be me. It's like, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever she wants to do, and then I'm sure the path will kind of pave itself a little bit, or at least show itself, and then I'll be like, all right, are you sure you want to do that? Because it doesn't look like you're happy with it. We can definitely quit. And she goes, all right, I don't want to do soccer anymore. Fine, soccer's out of our life. Like that's my mentality
I
there.
mean, we're definitely probably
That's
going to
it.
do it more like your style of just like, being behind your kid,
Mhm.
letting him find things, and then maybe, if he's steering off the wrong path, just kind of get him into it, but not so conservative or so like, this is my way,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. So,
Well, then that's not my way, because my way
well,
was like,
not what I
Damon,
meant.
you're going to do sports and you're going to like it. No, I'm just kidding. No,
No,
but
yeah.
it
You
makes
know what I mean? Like,
sense. Yeah.
you
Just
know.
be there. Know that. Your kid
I will.
knows it.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever they want to do, I'm definitely going to be open and be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And it makes sense too, because I mean, my son's background, I mean, his dad was a wrestler and a football player. His
Mhm.
grandpa played for the NFL, went to Berkeley, played football,
wow,
played
really?
baseball.
That's it? Just kidding.
I know what.
Talk
My dad played, semi-pro soccer in Mexico and
Really?
was a
Okay.
bull rider. And so it's just like in his family and me, I love sports. I was athletic. I just didn't have, the
fundamentals of it.
fundamental
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that. But I've always like loved sports and
Mhm.
basketball and football. And so it kind of, when you grow up with that, it's kind of hard to not.
Yeah, very much so. I would love for my kids to do sports, 'cause I
Mhm.
love sports.
Yeah.
It's another thing I can nerd out on if I really wanted to.
Yeah. absolutely.
But also if they don't want to do it, then I guess they're not going to do it. That's just it, right? They just I hope that they're more open in trying to find out what they want to do rather
Mhm.
than just doing it because we want them to do it, or because they think we want them to do it. And
Yeah.
if they think, that just means that they aren't as open as we would want them to.
Mhm.
Because we said it earlier.
Yeah, everybody at work keeps telling me, he's like, oh, I can't wait till Sophia's old enough for her like help customers at the theater and stuff like that. And in my head, I'm like, no, I'm gonna treat her like any other person. Like,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want a job, you have to be 15, 16 to work.
Yeah,
That's
true.
how like I'm gonna approach it. And like, if she wants to like hang out behind counter, I'm like, you can't be here during business hours. You gotta go out front. You gotta go watch a movie or something. But like everything's gonna be like very like,
You're gonna.
I'm not
like the
not-
real
there's-
world
there's
style. You're not gonna.
kind I don't feel like I'm gonna be like I'm gonna try not to give her as much privilege,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as people might think. But at the same time, it's like she's experienced a lot of things that I didn't as a kid. Watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid and wanting all those action figures, and I never got any of them,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now every time Sophia goes, like she's watching Gabby's Playhouse or something. We found them all, like almost all of them, at Walmart because they're having like a clearance.
Oh.
And we found the white cat, right? And I was like, all right, I don't know the names. And I found the white cat, and I'm like, all right, cool, we'll take it. Doesn't matter the price, whatever.
Yeah,
It's on clearance
yeah.
anyway. And then Chief Crystal like, oh look, and they have like a whole box of like the rest of them, like just put it in the box, and like took the whole box. And I guess we have presents for the next like 3-4 gifts or whatever. But I was just like, no, like that for now I'm okay with. But at some point when she starts like being
Expecting
a little bit more,
it?
expecting it, or
Yeah.
like self-aware of what her her privileges and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's where I kind of have to step in a little bit. It's
Yeah,
like,
you
no,
definitely- yeah.
Yeah.
you ain't getting free candy whenever you want. You ain't
Oh,
getting,
yeah.
It's not black and white. It's gonna be a gray
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a little bit of both. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
So I know your daughter is older, so kind of closer to my son. So, of course, their childhood is a lot different than ours was.
Mm-hmm.
So have you seen like the differences yet? Like, wow, she did that, or she thinks like that. I would never think that, or like say that to my parents, or have you seen kind of the
Yeah,
differences now?
Definitely. So I know I'm doing at least something right,
Mhm.
where she can openly tell me stuff.
Yeah.
Like she'll openly tell me when she's on her period.
Yeah.
Okay. Simple things like that where I'm like, okay, she's comfortable enough that she's telling me that she's bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, I didn't have that problem when I was.
That's great, Walter.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem when I was a kid. But either,
yeah,
it would be a very different conversation. But either way, I just know that at that age, she's almost 11. At that age, I still didn't tell shit to my parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sex talk and all that stuff. I wanted in and out of that room. I wanted in and out of that room. I didn't have any questions.
Yeah.
I really did. I just didn't.
They sat you down and talked to you about it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Fifth and sixth, I think 7th grade when they have this, like, that's like the actual sex talk, I think. I don't remember. They might have just done it all while we're just there, like one shebang, you know?
Fifth grade. I don't know if you guys remember the 5th grade video.
Oh, I still remember that video.
Yeah. And up until that point, I thought by kissing you can get pregnant.
Yeah.
By kissing?
Because I was so oblivious.
Yeah.
But just like any other boy, once the video was turned, all right, that's it. Now you learn about the bees, the birds and the bees, or whatever. I don't know. The guy who presented he looked like very like out of the 70s, kind of like big old mustache, hair coming out of his chest and stuff like that. I'm like, is that what a man's supposed to look like? I don't want to. Anyway,
I don't want to.
And I look over to my friend, and we're just like giggling, like it's the weirdest thing. We're being boys, whatever, and I'm like. And we're both like those adjustable desks. They have holes where you adjust it at what height.
Oh yes.
We took a pencil and we're just like.
Oh my god. I never watched that video.
You never did?
No.
I gotta find it.
Well, I think because when I came into 5th grade, maybe it was in between my
maybe
transferring over. Because everyone talks about this video, and my son talked about this video, and I was like, I never watched this video.
We're gonna have to try to find it because
now
I'm curious. Like if we watch it now, how
it has to be before the
2000s. It reminded me a lot of the Jurassic Park video at the beginning with the DNA.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's like
those old information.
DNA.
Yeah, that's old information.
That's what it reminded me of. Yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of. Yeah, because it was all very animated, like kid drawn almost.
Gotcha.
To make us understand and connect, I guess.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, those little kid drawn ones.
Yeah.
And with the guy with the voice, like, and this is called.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
Good job. No, that was a very awkward conversation with my son because he's very open. So I think that was one conversation where I had to stay calm and not show like the emotion that, when you're like, oh, how is it transition from baby boy to, that was one of the most, I don't even know how to describe.
We had Rocky on our show and we kind of talked to her about that. And that was the one thing that made her like as open as she is as a person. That was the one thing that made her just like, oh, I am super uncomfortable. Yeah. So uncomfortable that she had her husband do it.
Yeah.
Did you have the similar experience with that?
I was a trooper and listened to it, and it was myself and his dad. We were there.
Okay, well,
and his dad was like, and then so I was just like, because you don't want to show any, especially this kind of conversation. You want your child to feel comfortable. Yeah. So I'm just like, and he is open as open can get as like what they're doing, what him and his friends talk about.
We're so uncomfortable because that's how we were raised, but it's the right way. Like it's the best way.
Yes. And after he left, I was like, I told his dad, I was like, I never want to have that conversation with him again. Any kind of thing, you are going to do it. I don't want to do it. But I mean, my son will still, like, he's great as now, like, boundaries. And he was like, yeah, maybe I'll talk to dad about it. And I'm like, you can't talk to me about it? And he's like, I'll talk to dad about it. I was like, okay.
See, I wonder how I'm going to do it with my son, though, because we have years before that happens. But, like, I'm wondering if I'm going to be more, like, laid back.
Print out, the worst case scenarios. Like, this is chlamydia.
No, like, I don't know if I'm going to be like, look, whatever you're gonna do, just make sure that no one is in the house, or at least like make sure you're alone, alone.
Yeah. I am not in here. Put a sock on your But it's a lot easier with boys. Like we just tell, we know it's going to happen, and I mean, we can't be hypocrites. We had him very young. His dad was actually 15 and I was 17. So it's like we knew that it's coming. So we're very open, like be open with us. This is what you got to do. We're not like, don't you ever do it, like until you're, exactly. We know. So just like you said, being a support there. And
Yeah.
but with boys, it's a lot easier.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
of course. 'Cause-
girl.
But again, I mean, it is. It almost feel like it shouldn't be, but
Yeah.
systemically, it's
Yeah.
been made that way.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Apparently now there's like a party when a girl like have you guys ever heard Bert Kreisler, the comedian, with Tom Segura, like two
Bert Kreischer, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about his kid getting her period for the first time, and she calls him or something, and he goes, no, this is not my time. Like this you should be calling mom right now. I was like, no, it's fine. We talked about it. We know what to do. I just need these things from the store.
Okay.
So he goes and buys the things in the store, and so he goes, all right, we're gonna invite. It looked like a birthday party that they were setting up, right? Everything was like red.
Wow.
And they invited 2 boys, did not tell them what the party was for, and it was red velvet cake and all that stuff. And on the cake it was like Jason, and like and he described the boys eating the cake like they were just like 2 cage fighters, like red all over.
Oh my god.
And they didn't know who's Jason, because she had it on Friday the 13th.
Oh,
So
that's
that's-
funny.
But it was
funny.
so somebody calls it like
Mhm.
flow, like I can't remember.
Aunt Flo
Yeah.
or whatever.
No, we used to call it,
La Regla.
they said like something is, oh my god, what was it? I don't know, but like when girls had the class in health class, it was like there was like a code word. I forget. It was like someone is in town or something.
Aunt
like
Flo. Isn't it Aunt Flo?
I don't
is
think
in
it was
town?
Aunt Flo.
No?
No, it was something else. I'm sure I'll remember it once.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Either way, I left those classes not knowing. Like I was still kind of oblivious to it all.
Yeah.
And of course, since I never asked my parents, I was still more oblivious. So anything else after that, I would like ask some of my friends.
Yeah.
So the ones that I knew that weren't gonna make fun of me for it, because there was always that. And if not, I would ask them in a way where it sounded like, "Oh yeah, that's."
Oh yeah, I totally knew.
Oh
that.
yeah, I knew that. I thought you said this.
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
Oh, that's what. Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think, there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that will come up to me. You probably already had one at least.
I've had at least
Yeah.
one, and it's again, I kind of made this a conscious effort ever since she was born. And I knew I was having a daughter, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I know one day this is gonna happen. I don't want to go through it, but like we have to just make it where it's just okay to talk about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was like I said, she comes up, and I mean, I think she asked me one question. I'm like, I really don't know that. Why don't we ask your mom, or why don't we ask my wife?
Yeah.
Right? Because it was clearly I didn't know because I'm not a girl,
Yeah.
and I couldn't. And so like, but again, I was like, well, she came up to me, and she was just dead serious about it, like
Yeah.
without a care in the world that it was her dad. Like it wasn't like, oh my
Yeah.
god, hey dad, mom's not here, can we? And it's
Yeah.
like, no. So
No, that's great. And too, I was looking at one of the podcasts where you would go to the bathroom with her, the woman's bathroom.
oh my god, yeah.
And you were just like, yeah, there was people looking at me judging. And I was like, I would have definitely been that person. But the thing is there's double standards.
Yeah.
Because I used to take my son into the bathroom till he was like
Yeah,
7
guys
or
don't care.
8. And
Guys-
it was
guys don't care. They'd be
no
like,
big
oh, yeah.
deal.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I used to take him into the girls' bathroom.
Oh, in the girls' bathroom. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
and it was
sure is a
nothing.
double
It was
standard.
just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
well, he's just
seeing
doing
a man in the, I was like, oh my god! And I was so proud of you. That I was
Oh,
like,
thank
go,
you.
Walter.
I know, thank you. No, I was one of my proudest moments, to be honest.
Yes.
Because I mean, I never saw that back then, and I don't know if I really see that now much. But
No, but
I mean, I was like, I have to,
there's
have to suck it up
definitely-
and do it.
Yeah, but now, like you said, I think I mean, I've never been in a man's bathroom unless I was drunk and I really had to go and I did not care. But I think.
I have a story.
Oh, what is your story?
Well, it happened last night.
Oh God,
It was the weirdest thing. Crystal and I went to go watch a movie.
it wasn't Bianca.
No. Not.
He's all, I don't think.
No. I wouldn't put it past
All right.
if it was like 10 years ago at like Pat McGregor's with a kilt,
Yeah.
because they've done, okay, they go to the other
Oh
restroom.
no,
Yeah.
yep, I've
Yeah.
seen that before. Yeah.
So no, last night we went to go watch a movie. We watched Easter Sunday. It was pretty funny with Joe Coy,
Mm-hmm.
the comedian.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty funny. I liked it. And I was like, I gotta go pee. And she goes, you always gotta pee. I was like, because I drink the whole thing of soda. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to pee after the movie. And I go in there, I walk into, and I'm like, just going, and I look up, and there's a lady just washing her hands
In the men's bathroom.
in the men's room, and I'm like, I just go to a stall instead of a urinal.
Did you like close the door real quick to see if it was the right?
No, I was in the right place. And so I went, and so I started to pee, and she was gone. I kind of waited a little bit longer because I still heard her like drying her hands, like taking her time, like she's in the right place, And she left,
No
and
hurry.
I hear her guy kind of giggling on the way. I'm like, all right, I figured he told her. And I asked Crystal when I got out, I was like, hey, was that lady with that guy that was waiting out here? So yeah, I think he told her she was in the wrong restroom. And I'm like, all right, cool. Cause I was like, maybe this lady thought, maybe it wasn't a lady, it's just one of those things, because you never know. But it was just funny that you mentioned going into the men's restroom because that actually just happened, and it was weird. Last night felt weird. It felt off.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We don't judge.
I mean, we don't judge. Yeah,
we don't judge. So.
But it's just one of those things where, like, I mean, if there was a lot of guys in there and like you just see one lady, I'm sorry, you might be in the wrong. Like, I would at least address it, but I was just me in there and her. And I'm like, it's 10 o'clock.
I've been in some men's bathrooms. There's a crowd full of men in there, and then you see one random girl just come in. She's like, I am not waiting in line.
Yes.
I'm not waiting. I'm sorry, I'm not waiting in line. And we're all just like, oh, all right.
I had the urge to do that at a gas station the other day. I had to go so bad, but I was like, no, Bianca, you are a mother. You're an adult now. I'm like, be mature. So,
man.
Yeah, but when I'm out of town,
when you're not a mother,
when I'm not a mother for that weekend, it will probably happen.
I mean, yeah, as parents, we have to find our own hobbies because it's hard to. I mean, look at Miguel and I over here. This is basically our therapy.
Yeah, kind of. It's it's the only like kind of getaway we have, but we're kind of like hoping it becomes something different or more. But for now, it's like we're like low expectations. Just as long as we record,
we put out content
a little
it's
bit,
fun,
and talk about our golden days, stuff like that.
I mean, we do want it to be something more if possible, but this is also fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were just talking about that.
100 episodes later, if it's just us still doing this, I'm fine with that.
We're going to continue doing 100 episodes more.
Because I know there's a lot of people that would like to talk about their days.
Yeah.
In early, late in the 18, 1920s and Paso Robles, before it blew up as like this big wine place. So, we'll definitely have a lot of familiar faces here for sure.
No,
and recurring guests too. Because I mean,
you're more than welcome. Well, definitely, if we're still around when your kids like in pro.
Oh no, yeah,
we're having you back.
No.
Because like literally every time you're talking about him, every time you're talking about like the role that you play, like I'm seeing her in the press conference.
No, see, so when she was
that
doing
weird?
that, so when she was doing that, I was thinking like, oh, in 20 years from now, this clip will be on like a montage of like. A doc series or something.
I think that's one of the things that me and Walter are like starting to realize more is like people they'll like 10 years later be like, oh man, yeah, we used to do this, we used to do that, and like never document any of it. You're doing it with your kid, which is amazing.
Yes.
But there's there are people out there like they have this 15, 20 years of experience and of like just knowledge that they want to express, but they never document it at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That like this is like the perfect opportunity to at least record it now as a story or as an experience, and then go from there.
And even so, even if you do it through social media, you still don't get the full story. You just see that. I mean, you can comment back and forth. You can even message them back and forth, but you don't get the same feeling as you do like in a conversation, whether it's facial expressions, their tone, their demeanor, any of that other stuff. And I think this is a perfect way to get people's voices out there.
Exactly.
Like this whole topic, I would have never thought about it because I never had this experience. It's a new world, but I think it's a good way to shed light on it and to learn something new. Yeah. If anything else, I'd be like, hey, I learned something today. Yeah. Or at least through an experience. So hopefully somebody gets something out of it.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Don't underestimate that little fat Mexican kid at the soccer field.
The kid with the golden leg, you would have never known.
You would have never known.
Well, and that's what makes it such a big difference is say, Miguel, if he had, a parent like myself who, had more of a flexible schedule, could work from home, could take time off to go on week-long tournaments.
That would have turned out way differently. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or you know, your parents, you couldn't talk to your parents so much. You were shy, things like that. My son is, you know, very confident, far from shy, but because we've given him that opportunity.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's such a difference, you know, for myself, you know, if I had, you know, different childhood, I wouldn't be here today. You know, so, but we're thankful for, you know, how everything turned out. But
you take whatever cards you have and you just lay them out and just go around and play like that. So, any last minute advice that you want to give out for all the sports moms or
for
anything?
all the sports
anything,
moms.
yeah. I mean, just.
I think just at the end of the day, you know, being open, you know, and having that line of communication with your child, and also them knowing that, you know, there are times where it's very competitive, and I'm like your dad, you know, if you messed up, I will let you know. You could have done great in the game, but I'll be like, okay, this is what we've been playing this for a long time.
He could have just done it more sincerely.
Yeah. No, I can be like, I can be hardcore, you know, because, you know, you see so much potential in your children and you have this vision for them, you know, and sometimes I am a little tough, but I think that tough love, just having that balance as well, is at the end, he knows that I will have his back in everything if he's not being treated correctly.
Well, that's the difference between you and my dad. So there was a balance. All right? There was a balance. There wasn't like I'm sure you make him feel like he's good. You know, you tell him he's better. You tell him he's good. You know that, you know his abilities, and you know that he can be doing better if he's putting his best foot forward. Mine was just more like, oh, I'm just going to yell at you just because you did something bad.
Yeah.
Right? There wasn't really a talk afterwards.
True.
That made that like an eye opener.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. So yeah.
But either way, yeah.
Yeah, I think just really communication, and then enjoying every moment that you have, because it goes by very fast. My son is 14 years old, and I'm just starting to really feel those effects of, you know, everything's going to change. Yes, you know, people say, you know, when they're 18, they go off. No, this person is going to be with you for the rest of your life. It's just adjusting and those different chapters.
18-year-old still a kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still very much a kid.
I would not trust an 18-year-old. Not for much. So
right. Yeah. So, and then too, letting moms know that going through transitions are tough. A lot of moms don't talk about that. You know, you have to be very strong and you have to be there for your child. But at the same time, you know, there are moms that sometimes message me and say, you know, you make it look so easy. I'm having a tough time. You know, my kid, you know, it's not listening and it's hard. And sometimes, you know, as a mom, you get so frustrated and you just need a break. And just letting moms know that, yes, on social media, everything is going to look easy. And we all post all the great stuff. But as a mom, you do have to have that balance, because there is those days when you're just like, being a mom is exhausting. Like,
can't handle you
kid,
today.
Leave me alone for like a day, you know.
It doesn't make you a bad parent for saying that.
Exactly. It makes you human. So I think that giving, you know, moms and dads, you know, that grace, and knowing that you do need that time sometimes and your kids will get on your nerves, and they are tough. And
it happened to me last night.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, just giving, you know, grace to yourself and balance.
Go for it, Miguel. That's all the time we have.
That's all the time we have.
Last minute shout outs real quick.
To all of Damon's coaches, Coach Dakota, Coach Tompkins, Coach Tyler Stewart, Coach Eric and Jeremy. You guys have made such an impact on Damon's life, and also to family, friends that have always been there to support. And of course, the big man, D. I wouldn't have the pleasure to be a mom, a coach, and your number one fan. So thank you so much for being a great kid.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Peace out.
Peace out. If you go pro, I'll get your jersey. Only if you're not. If you're Giants, I'll just get your autograph. Boom, boom.